Hello again. In this session, we will see how to create user form and how to apply the validation using JavaScript. We will be creating this user form using HTML and CSS and JavaScript. We'll start from the scratch. So we have this user form like this, and when you click on the register, we would like to show the error message like this, and if the value is present, then we will show the successful message like this. And even we will validate the email format, like you know whenever the email is like this, and when you click on the register, you can see email is not valid. We provide the correct email, it should remove the error message and it should show in the green color. So let us start. So I have the folder called JS Form Validation. So I open the folder using the Visual Studio Code. Open folder JS and JS Form Validator and create index.html doctype HTML. And here in Visual Studio Code, you can use the some shortcuts like HTML, and when you enter, it will create the opening and closing tags for us. So it will save our time. And same way, head, then body. Here I want to create the form. So before that, I want to create one container div dot. So when you want to assign some class to the div, then you can write like this div dot and the class name whatever you want. So I'm using class name container and press enter. You can see it will create the div like this with the class and the value whatever you provided. Before I creating the form, I just want one header. So div dot and class name header h2 create, and then I want to create the form with the class name form, and currently we have action and we don't require this action just to inside the form. So I want to create the form control div for each of these input like username, password, confirm password, email div, and I want to apply class name form control and close this. So inside that I want to have one label and to show the label like username and a text box to receive the input for username and one small tag to show the error message or validation message. So how to write the shortcut? So label, then I want to add one attribute here. So label, and when you want to add any attribute you can open these brackets and for, and you can apply the value here for username, and I want to add one more attribute called name equal to username. Then I want to add the input as a next element. So when you want to add the next element, you can add the plus and input, and whereas this input I want type equal to text, and then I want to add name property username and plus a small tag. Now you can see that it has created for us label and input and small tag. And let's close this like this. So now username. So let me write here username. Same way, just copy paste for the other inputs like email, password, confirm password. Let me make type as email. Here we have the email type introduced in HTML5. So name, email. So for password, make it password and save it, and we are done. But before that, we need to add one more form controller. We need button here and called register. We go and run open with live server. So our form is there now, the plain form, and it doesn't have any CSS applied. So it looks like this. Now it is time for applying the CSS. Now we have username, email, password, and confirm password. And before that, I just add ID also. So let's say id txt user name. I am using here camel case. So actually usually this is the naming convention, everyone follow camel case. So now it's time to create the CSS. So view explorer and app.css. So first write the CSS like for all the elements and all the classes use box sizing border box. If you know the box model you can understand it very well. For body and where you will change some background color, let's say RGB of 4 comma 4 comma 95. So just apply some background color, and before that we need to refer our CSS here. So how to refer link href equal to app.css style sheet, close it. So we can't see our content entirely. Add the display flags. So we need to align this form center vertically and horizontally also. Justify content center, align items center, and we have to give some minimum height 100 VH, and now you can see it is center aligned, margin 0. Now let's write CSS for the container. So we have container class which is the main class container, and we just provide some width, let's say 400 pixel, and we need to provide some background color, border radius 4 pixel, and overflow hidden. We write the CSS for this header to differentiate from the input controls, and this input we just apply some background for the create user header. So header background color applied, and we need to apply some padding. That's it. Now you can see that create user and background is applied for the header. Now it is time to write for the form. We'll apply some padding pixel 40 pixel, and after the form we have to write for the form controller. So the form controller is belongs to the each row, like each of these rows is one form controller, username, email, password, and everything. So you just write like the control, and you can see that now we don't have any gap between the vertically like username, email, and password. Just add some gap, margin bottom, same way, padding bottom 10 pixel, and position relative, save it. So I give the position relative because we need to make the child elements of this form controller like small absolute. That's why I give the position relative here, that I will show you now. Now we can see that username and the text box both are coming in the same line, but you need to have them in separate lines. And before that we write for the form control label. Will write first display inline block because I want to just apply some margin to this username to, so to affect the margin we need to use the display inline black, and margin let's say some 3 pixel, margin maybe bottom. And now it's time to write for the text box. So take this and write for the input controller. Instead of label make it input. So here I just want to apply display block so that it come into the next line. Maybe here I can apply some 10 pixel. So sorry, I did a mistake. Okay, so we just have written label as label. Now you can see it is applied margin bottom, and let me make it 5 pixel instead of 10 pixel. So display block, and it should occupy the entire width, so 100 percentage We need some padding, so let's say 10 pixel. Border radius 4 pixel. We need some bud 2 pixels solid and ash. So see that this is very beautiful now. The form we have this small and but you don't have anything, so just may add my error message. Same thing you can have everywhere. And now let's add some CSS to this error message. So just copy small position, make it absolute. So now we are done almost. Now we need to add the CSS for the button alone. So button background color. I use the same color that we applied for our background, the same blue. Just apply here. For color is not visible, so color FFF padding and 20 pixel and make width 100 percentage. Border radius, time to add the border 2 pixel solid and the same color. Finally, cursor point. Our HTML and CSS part is completed and it is time for adding the validations using the JavaScript. And now you can see the register. When you click on the register, you can see it is reloading the page. That we'll see now. And before that, we are seeing this error message every time. So we don't want the is error message by default. So we can just hide it, and whenever the error is there, that time only we need to show this error message. And that too for the particular input box. Here I just add visibility hidden. So now you can't see that. So visibility property, if you use hidden, what it will do, it will be there in the DOM and it will occupy the same space, but it won't be appearing on the UI. So now it's time to add the JavaScript. Go to Explorer and add app.js. So now let access all the text box, email and password controls. So let user name equal to document dot get element by id and here txt username. So I just pause the video and write the entire code so that you can save time. Document dot query selector and we have only one form, so just form. Now we write the validation function validate input. Here I just write console.log validate input. Here we have the registration button, and when you click on the registration button, we need to call this validate input, which will validate all the values and then show the error messages if required. So we need to listen to the click event of this registration button. So how to do that? Since we have only one button, just I am going to write like this: government query selector button, and we need to add the event listener and click is the event that we are going to listen. So that is the event that we are going to fire when you click on the button, of course. So now this is the one, and even you can write, of course, like here you can write on click, and you can call the function also. Anything you can use. So, but I prefer this way to do. So you can enter button add event listener click, and here I am going to call validate input. Now let's see what will happen. Before we running our HTML file, we need to refer our app.js here. Just go before closing tag of the body, and here script src app.js. Now go here and right click, open with the live server. We have form, click on the register. You can see that just validate input is just coming and going. See, you can see the left side valid input message is coming and going because whenever you click on the register, the form is submitted. To prevent that behavior, we can use the method called prevent default. Event dot prevent default. Now this will stop the submitting this form. So now you can see that valid input you can see and the form is not reloading. Now it's time to write the code. check username is empty. If we have username element here, so username dot value dot trim, so we are going to trim it, and then if it is empty, then we need to show the error message. So to show the error message, we need to access the small element. Before that, what we need to do, let parent equal to username dot parent element. So this will give the parent element of the username. So which means here if we go, we have the username input box here. For this, the parent is this div form controller. So the parent element method will return as this div. So now we have the div element, which is nothing but this parent, and using that parent we can query the small tag or element. So let message element equal to, here now we can use just parent dot query selector. This parent element will return the HTML element. So right, HTML element will have this method query selector and small. So now what we are telling, we are telling this parent div to find out the small. So this will check for the small element with available inside this div. So obviously it will give this small element. So now we need to make it visible, because by default this small element is hidden. So we have applied, remember, if we have applied visibility hidden, so we need to make it visible. Message element dot, we have to use the object called style object, and visibility equal to visible, and after that we need to set some message. So message element dot inner text equal to username cannot be empty. Now let's go and click on the register. You can see that username cannot be empty, and if you provide some username, let's say Chris, and click on the register, still it is showing. So what you have to do, we need to clear it. To take again the same code, we need to clear it. Instead of visible, we need to provide hidden, and this text message also we can just make it empty. If you go and click on it, you can see username cannot be empty, and if you go and type something, click again, it will go away. So now we can see that we have written the same code twice. So in order to avoid that, you can write the another methods like helper methods or whatever function on success, and here I will receive the element like input, and then we need message, and same way we write for the error also on error. So on success, just copy the entire this code and paste here, and same way you can see that input and message. So input, take the input, so instead of username keep it input, and message here we'll message parent element message element. So that's same way you take it, and here on success we don't require any message, so we can just make it hidden, and make it text empty here visible, and yeah, that's it. Now instead of this code, we go and just call on success, and we'll pass username, and here we'll pass on error, and we'll pass username comma username cannot be empty. Now go and run again. You can see that error message coming like username cannot be empty, and when you go and give some value and click, it is clearing. So it is working now. To indicate the username validation is successful, we can add some border color to this input text box. So that we can do, go here form controller dot success input border 2 pixel solid and I want some green color. So not exactly green, I can take the some light green. So let me take this, something like that. Yeah. Same way, we need to have some error message also. Error. And instead of green, let us take the red color. And now, if we go and apply success, for example, to see how it works, see this way you want to show. And if we apply error, this way we want to show. So I will remove it here and go to app.js. So on error, so we need to add this class to input control. So let us add the success class to the form controller when input validation is successful. So let us add the success class in success method when the validation is successful. So parent dot class list dot add, and here we need to add success, and same way we need to remove the error. So if already validation fails, then error class would have applied, so we should remove it. So parent dot class list dot remove error, and same way in the on error, but it is in reverse order, like we need to add the error and remove the success. Now go and click on the register. You can see that red color is applied, and whereas you can see the same error message user name cannot be empty. And if we just apply now name Chris, so already we have the red border applied. Now when you click on the register, the red border goes away, means the error class will be removed from the parent class list, and green color means success class will be applied to the form control. Same way we do for the email. So if equal to empty, then email cannot be empty. Else case we need to check if the format of the email is correct or not. So to do that we need to use some function, which tells whether the email is valid or not. Function is valid email, and here we need to use some regular expression. You can go online and check the regular expression. So this regular expression will be used to validate the email. So this email is a valid email. So is valid email should accept one parameter like email text. Let's say email, and then dot test. We are testing it and comparing with email. So whether it is email or not. Now this method will check whether email is following the correct pattern or not. If it is not following, it will return the false. Otherwise, it will return the true. So now go here and write in the else part if is valid email, and we need to pass here the email value. So email dot value dot trim if email is successful. So we should say here if it is not successful, then set error, like this, and email is not valid. And if it is successful, then we should go to else part, and there we need to set success. Instead of username, we just email. So now we go and check Krish and email. Don't apply anything. Click on register. You can see email cannot be empty, and it is highlighted with red color. This email input box, and now just pass just some value. Let's say Krish, and click on register. You can see now email is not valid. Now just chris.21 at gmail.com something, and click on register. Now you can see that it is highlighted with the green color, and because this is valid email. Same way password and confirm password also you can do. So let quickly copy this code pwd, and same way for confirm password. Now you go Krish and chris.21 gmail.com and click on register. You can see these two are highlighted in green color, but these two are highlighted in the red color because we have not provided any value. So just apply something and click on it. Now you can see that everything is green, but still we need to do one more validation like whether this password and confirm password both are matching or not. So that we'll do here in the confirm password value, you know, like the trim is and success. So before that we need to see if password dot value dot trim not equal to confirm password dot value dot trim, then else. So let's go and here write and password, let's say 123, and here again give password 123, click on register. You can see now everything is green. And let me give instead of 123 one to something, some numeric value. Now you can see password and confirm password not matching. But if I give 123 again, you can see that it will be cleared. So this is how we can do the validation for the input form, and you can create the form, you know, without any other bootstrap or something. You can write your own css and you can create this beautiful form. And even after clicking this register, you can push the data to the server, or you can call the service, anything you can do it. Thank you for watching. So if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel.